I'd like to welcome everybody to the Flying Circle. My name is Mike Elgan. I do this every Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, though I'm thinking about changing the time, but we'll see how that goes. Our Flying Circle today is movie makers, people who make movies, films, documentaries, that sort of thing, and just in time for the Oscars, and hopefully we'll have time to talk about the Oscars a little bit today. So let's go ahead and jump in here and get started. Let's go ahead and go around the room and have each of you introduce yourself. Tell us who and where you are, please, and what you do. So Brad, let's start with you.
Sure. My name is Brad Brizendine. I'm in lovely Southern California in the Valley, and I started an advertising firm about 15 years ago. So, done the gamut, strategy all the way through TV, blah, blah, blah. Love making movies, love writing them, love mostly shorts at this point, but who knows what comes around the corner.
Brad, there seems to be some back and forth these days between advertising and filmmaking. Is that a new, or has that always been the case?
I think it's always been the case. I mean, if anyone's watched Mad Men, that's really kind of opens the kimono, so to speak. It's the idea with advertising is to reach an audience, is to convince someone that of a particular point of view, and to me, film that's the purpose of film. It's to come across with a particular point of view, to say something meaningful. Advertising obviously is you say something meaningful about a product or a company or a service. So I much prefer not having to do that. But the principles and the goal to me is pretty much the same.
Okay, Brad, the other Brad Kramer. Can you go ahead? Two Brads.
Yes, I'm Brad Kramer. Thanks for having me. I come from an action sport background, primarily snowboarding. I did that for about 15, 16 years, traveling the world, going to lots of snowy locations, making movies. And recently, the last couple of years, I've transitioned into a more commercial and doc work. I still love the action sports world, but docs is kind of where I'm heading at the moment.
Brad, we did a hangout, I think about 3 weeks ago, with the Bones Brigade because they did a documentary, and that was really cool because most of the filmmakers and definitely all of the protagonists in that documentary were, super hardcore action sports people, and really the movie was a combination of documentary style interviews plus some really, really crazy and really early action sports footage from the 80s of Tony Hawk and all those guys doing what they did. That was really cool, and so I think that there's it's exciting to see action sports people get into filmmaking because I think they have a lot of experience with certain camera angles and just an attitude about what's on screen.
Yeah, it's kind of a natural transition because we really would spend 10 months out of the year just traveling all over the world with whatever equipment we can, get in our bag in locations that are just, especially in snowboarding. I'd be, 1 week I'd be on the top of a mountain in Alaska. The next week I'd be, in Russia, and then I'd be over in Japan, and then a couple months later I'd be down in New Zealand. And you're always trying to get that high production value out of a very minimal amount of equipment, and so that's kind of how I made my transition, was because as I kept, progressing up and up and up, I kind of reached a plateau where the budgets that I could get and the equipment that I could travel with easily wasn't, what I wanted anymore. And so I started transitioning out and, getting into more, commercial work and doc work, which is, been a lot of fun.
Okay. Darren, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. I'm Darren Miller. I'm a comedian in New York City. Also a writer and producer and actor. Started a production company with some friends a little while ago, not pretty recent. And basically we try to put our material into video, and that comes in shorts. We recently shot a pilot.
Cool.
We go wherever we can.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Alex. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who and where you are and what you do?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Alex Murphy, and just to say, I'm also a person who stutters. So if I catch up on a couple words, here and there, that's why. But I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a senior radio, TV, film student at a UT, and I've written and directed four short films, 3 narrative, and one documentary on stuttering, actually. And so in the future, I'd like to start up my own small production company for commercial work, music videos, and then also continue to write and direct narrative projects.
Okay. So you're in Austin. So are you going to be able to go to South by Southwest?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to be shooting some there. So hopefully I can get some kind of badge out of that. I haven't actually asked yet, but hopefully, yeah.
Okay, great. Jamie, why don't you go ahead? You are in, rumor has it that you are in Ecuador in a cafe, cyber cafe.
In an internet cafe, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You might hear all the other noise too as well, but I'm
quiet on the set, right?
Yeah, exactly. Normally I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and originally from Los Angeles, and now I am in Ecuador, in northern Ecuador, and we're doing some NGO and nonprofit work here right now, films, some video work for people, and we have just been here for the last couple of months, and we're going to be here till the middle of March.
All right. Great. Matthew, why don't you go ahead?
Hi, yes, my name is Matthew Rappaport. I am from New York, originally from Long Island, live in New York City. I started as an actor, and that wasn't enough for me. I wanted more creativity, so I dove into writing and directing, and I made a movie called Yoko Shimono, my first feature film about a mime and a therapist. And I've been really doing a lot on Google Plus as far as creating other content. I do a weekly Hangout conversation show, much like your weekly show. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope to do a lot more movies and networking as we move along.
What day and time is your weekly show?
I actually have a show tonight, usually Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, but I did have one last night with my guest Chris Perillo, and he actually had nice things to say about you.
Wow, he's lying. I had Chris on. I had Chris on the last hangout I did, which was called Lego Maniacs. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Chris is great. We go way back. Okay, let's see. Let's hear from Sharon Wright and her magical pig.
Yes, he's actually being quiet right now. But hi, I'm Sharon Wright. I am an actress mainly. I started writing and directing and did a film called Change for a Dollar that ran the festival circuit for a short time, and put it up on YouTube just a few months ago, and it literally went viral. We've been 199 countries, and we're at 1.7 million views, and Roger Ebert even picked it up, and yeah, so I'm doing a lot more writing and directing, and I'm still acting too. So yeah, I just do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, Roger Ebert was invited to this hangout, but the bastard didn't show up. So.
Well, he's here in L.A. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in L.A. He's here in L.A. for the Oscars, so I think he's probably a little busy with that.
And what was he going to say?
Okay, Stephen, go ahead.
Exactly. Keep it tight.
Sure. Hi, I'm Stephen Vargas. I'm out in Chicago, and I guess recently I've been interested in crowdsourcing. I have a YouTube film called Life the Chicago Way, where I had people during the blizzard last year in February send in their experiences of the blizzard within Chicago, and I got about 80 responses there and created a user-generated movie where people voted on their 5 favorite videos out of the bunch, and we created a little film out of that called Life the Chicago Way. So yeah, that's what I've been interested in. I like having a a lot of people input into a movie and seeing where this whole micro cinema distributing through YouTube thing might lead us.
So do you see this concept of taking the video from a gazillion people at, some experience or in some area and putting it together into a narrative? Is that a niche that you feel that you're going to be exploring in the future, or is that a one-off thing?
I find it interesting. I really do. Like to be able to have the interactivity of people make some type of decision on the artistic process. So, like it's been done. Life in a Day. They had Ridley Scott, and they teamed up with Google and YouTube, and they were at Sundance, and they live streamed their movie on YouTube while it was streaming at Sundance, and that was basically people sending in, I think it was a total of 80,000 submissions of a 24-hour period where they were able to submit and put their what their life was in that day. And I find it interesting. It's been done lots of times. I think Snakes on a Plane was the first time they tried to do something where they had people kind of give their opinion on where the film should go. And yeah, I don't think it's a one-off thing. I think I might, if I could find some different types of areas to go into. It's just kind of a fun thing to have an entire interactive way to connect with your audience and have them feel like they were a part of the process and enjoy that aspect of it. So.
It's a fascinating concept for filmmaking, but it sounds like an editing nightmare. So you have 500 terabytes of video. Go ahead and get started editing. Going through all that. How do you do that?
Good luck with that. Well, for me specifically, the one film that I did that by allowing them to vote on which ones would make it. So in YouTube, the thumbs up, thumbs down button, they were able to say, okay, we like this one, we don't like this one. So I just went through and I found the 5 highest votes that I got, and that kind of filtered that part out. And then the rest I just sort of had to fill in and make it work somehow. So I kind of connected Foursquare because I wanted to make it a social media movie type as well. And it just so happened that Chicago got the first city badge, as it was, and they had certain landmarks around the city. So I went ahead and I used, let me see if I have the camera here. I wanted it to be something where people could feel like, anybody could do this. This is very easy. So I used just a little Kodak ZI-8 Handycam and went around and started shooting myself, doing the scenes and introducing each of the 5 videos from 5 different landmarks in Chicago and put it all together. And that's kind of the whole point, how filmmaking today isn't the same thing as filmmaking 20 years ago. You can have a $100 camera that shoots in 1080p and have a decent quality film and be able to distribute it in a way where people might be able to see it. And that's not something that was possible years and years and years ago. You had to get access to equipment. You had to put a lot of money into the budget to be able to make something. And it's kind of neat that if you do have the will and a little bit of talent and the talent around you to put it together, you can make something. And then that's what it's all about. We're all creators here. Everybody in this room is able to use their talent to create a film that's going to go out and have other people watch it. And it's just an exciting place to be. I think most people here would agree. It's just a fun time to be a filmmaker right now.
I think it is such an exciting time just because of that. Because just a few years ago, you had to have thousands of dollars worth of equipment. You had to have film. You had to have computers that nobody could afford. There's only a select few people who can do it. And nowadays, it's like because you have all this access, all these great small cameras that are like sub $500 that are amazing, and computers that you can edit these movies on your phone nowadays. And sure, in one aspect, it kind of floods the market to where you end up seeing just gobs and gobs and gobs of junk. But it also allows people who do have talent and passion to be able to put something out there, and that I think pushes the industry. It takes it away from the formula, and it puts it puts the opportunity in the hands of people who are creative, and those of us who have been doing it for a long time, that pushes us to do it more, and those who haven't been doing it, it gives them the opportunity. So it's an absolute exciting time to be in filmmaking. There's no doubt.
I've even noticed that that a lot of blockbuster, big budget movies are using prosumer and consumer technologies. For example, I heard that both the Black Swan and the Avengers used Canon DSLRs for a couple of the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty high-end consumer camera. I think it's $5,000 or something like that. There was a rumor for a while that the Avengers used an iPhone, but that
sounds Aronofsky.
The camera's not even that expensive, really. I mean, you're talking about $2,500 and a couple lenses and stuff. It's really cheap. I mean, sure it's a little bit more than what a kid can afford, but a lot of people are in that genre, being able to afford that type of camera, and it is being used for blockbusters. I mean, there's movies that are nominated at the Oscars that were filmed solely on the 5D Mark II. I mean, that camera definitely, it changed the industry. It changed the way we do a lot, and then there's so many other cameras coming out that are continually, expanding on top of that. So.
Yeah, and it's not even that. I mean, that's definitely part of it, but there's also the distribution part as well. It's easy to get it out there. Like Jamie and Adam, they just had well, not just, but we had the unofficial Google Plus Film Festival a few months ago, and that was fantastic. I don't know. Can you talk about that, Jamie? Because that was a lot of fun.
Tell us about the film festival, Jamie.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. Sorry, it was taking a while to register. Well, it was actually Adam Cohen's project and his whole idea. So it was really his main thing. You want to talk about the film festival for a second? Here.
Hi there.
Hey, Adam.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey, I guess the question might have been about the unofficial Google Plus Film Festival.
Yes. First of all, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Adam Cohen, producer with Blind Mile Films. I work pretty closely with Jamie Bird, who is my creative everything, director, editor, and writer. But basically, the unofficial Google Plus Film Festival was started initially just to kind of bring a stronger film community onto Google Plus, and the idea then was just to see what was out there and get a bunch of films from filmmakers who were on Google Plus. So that's kind of what I did, and I connected with some great people who helped spread the word. And most of the people here actually were somewhat involved, if not very involved, with having a film. I'm going to mute myself. Oh, never mind. Either they had a film or were very encouraging to make everything come off and be a very successful festival.
Welcome to South America.
Yeah, couldn't you guys have gone to a quieter country for this?
Can I jump in here real quick?
Sure. Go for it.
I just want to say that what they did with the festival online on Google Plus was so great, and I don't know if you realize this, Adam, or not, but Change for a Dollar made it to the Google Hot List because of that festival. It was amazing.
That's cool. Now, is that going to be an annual thing, or what?
Yeah, the plan is to have it be every year. We thought we might be able to do it more than that, but it was just too much work. So I know Adam's planning on doing it again next year as well.
And the size of Google Plus will be 10 times what it is this year, so that will be cool.
Yeah, there's that. But we were so excited to hear that, Sharon. I know Adam told me about it, and I was just floored about that with Change for a Dollar. So that's great. So she's gone. Bye.
How else is technology affecting?
She fell off the couch.
No, the mailman came.
So how else is technology changing distribution? I mean, has there been a C.K. Lewis moment yet in independent filmmaking where somebody?
What kind of moment?
I'm sorry, Louis C.K. is a comedian who recently, instead of an HBO special, he rolled his own and made a fortune. Right. Is that kind of thing happening in film distribution?
I actually recently heard that Ed Burns is doing something.
Yeah.
People are going to watch this project. Yeah.
I think it is. I think that there's no doubt that one of the ways that filmmakers are going to be able to get a lot of their stuff seen is through self-distribution, which they've been doing for a while already. But I think it's just you do have to do a lot of your own marketing, your own distribution plan, and really plan out your film festival circuit, what you're doing with that, and it's a totally different thing. But some people are able to do it and do it really well, while others it's very difficult because it's not the fun part of making a movie. So it's the part that nobody really likes, but it doesn't work the way it used to, where you could make a film and have somebody want to buy it right away from you.
Yeah. So how does Google Plus affect, how do you use Google Plus for your work? Do you use it for feedback? Do you get ideas, crowdsourcing, marketing? How do you use Google Plus today?
Well, I've used it for both distribution and for more pre-production stuff as well. In fact, I was just working on a project where because in the Hangouts, you can share docs and spreadsheets and all that. So I would get into a Hangout with, say, my cinematographer or my production designer, and literally work on those documents and spreadsheets and kind of figure things out, like video chatting instead of having to go and actually meet up. And so I think that's kind of another layer of it in terms of the more productivity and it kind of hooking up with all of Google's other properties like Gmail and Calendar and Docs and all that kind of stuff.
So just as a business person, you're using it in the same way that, to a large extent, anyone who does projects that have to be coordinated might use it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I've found that it's a great way to post videos that a lot of my friends have made. I have a lot of very talented friends in the world of comedy. There's a big, sort of fairly tight-knit but also kind of sprawling comedy community here. And it's been a great way to try to show a much larger audience all of these projects that I think a lot less people are seeing at first. So you can give people that sort of the kick that, people release a video, you throw it on YouTube, and who knows what's going to happen. Obviously, one end of the spectrum is what's happening with Sharon's film, which is what everyone could hope for.
We all want to be like Sharon.
What's great about Google Plus is that it allows a more social way to help in distributing content.
Another thing that the whole social media thing is good for is there are a lot of different people who have different pieces of equipment, and when you're sitting there evaluating, well, does this work or does that work, you either have to buy them, rent them, or ask. There's a lot of people who already have it, who are just tweeting and posting stuff on Google Plus and just talking about it, and they actually run the gamut from way high up. Everybody's familiar with Stu Mashwitz, I presume. He's all over Twitter with he's a high-end visual effects supervisor. He's been fantastic, and a bunch of people like him, Philip Bloom, a bunch of other people like that, are actually giving really, really, really helpful equipment-related stuff. It's been great.
Howard Hughes would have loved Google Plus because he could have asked for more cameras for the Hells Angels without actually having to go to a social event.
I also think that Google Plus is helping people collect. There's the pig. That Google Plus is helping for people to network a lot more, and we're actually putting together a writers retreat where we're all going to be kind of pounding out for a week a script, and I think that what there's all these different levels where you can network with creatives to do future projects with as well, and that's a really big plus for us.
No pun intended. So how does it?
I also like bacon.
Don't say
Everyone does.
Sorry,
Bacon
Sharon.
envy.
Don't let the pig hear you. Yeah. So how does it enable you to be to collaborate with people internationally? I mean, we've heard from the Ecuador faction, but how about the rest of you? Is filmmaking becoming more globalized? Does Google Plus help you reach out?
I think so. Yep.
Google Plus, Facebook.
Oh, absolutely.
Twitter.
I mean, even as an
Go ahead, Sharon.
go ahead. Oh no, I was just going to say, like, just the networking in general is tremendous, and as an actor in particular, you know, it allows a larger audience to like see the work that we can do, and the internet in general has opened up things, no matter what category you work in, whether it's, you know, in front of the camera or behind the camera. I think that, you know, like Google in particular has been fantastic for, you know, my film, my acting, everything, because it connects such a large audience to things that they ordinarily wouldn't have seen. I mean, even, you know, 5 or 10 years ago, you could not have gotten the attention that you can get now.
But as in film, you know, some scene-stealing pig comes along and gets all the attention.
He is a scene-stealing thing, yeah.
I hate when that happens.
I hate it too. People a lot of my friends, filmmaker friends, are on Facebook. Getting them over to Google Plus has been the big challenge. You know, a lot of people that I know are finally coming over. They wanted to use Hangouts. I knew Sharon beforehand, and I was like, gotta get on Google Plus. And you know, and her movie, and Adam. I've talked to Adam at the beginning. I had him on my show. And so just getting people over here and letting them know what they can do, whether it's filmmakers and musicians or all kinds of artists here, just for them to collaborate and be able to meet people and show off their work has been pretty amazing and changing their lives, I think.
Absolutely.
Another thing worth noting too is that the big distinction that Google Plus has is what we're doing right now. You can't do this on the other social networks. You can't do this really in many other ways on the internet. So this is a huge way that smaller communities have been able to grow and strengthen using Google Plus, and it's been huge.
I was actually amazed when I went to gather victims for this Hangout, and you know, I found literally dozens of people. You know, my criteria is that people post really interesting things on the subject of the Hangout. So all of you guys and all the people who weren't able to make it post some really fascinating insights into the industry and into the process. And there are lots and lots of people in the filmmaking business on Google Plus writing really fascinating things, and everybody's going to love this circle when I share it, because you really get to see how movies are made and you know, the incredible number of challenges and stuff like that people go through. It's really a great community.
And this seems to be a really good eclectic crowd of filmmakers, because I know what a lot of you have, what you guys do, and it's really a nice kind of, we all do a lot of different stuff, so this was a good general overview of like the process in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
go ahead, Alex.
And just talking about that post that you made recently about Translate, Google Translate, you know, and I could definitely see in terms of like making, in terms of Google Plus making it more global, I could definitely see them at some point having Translate in these types of video chats where you could be talking with somebody who speaks Chinese or Japanese or Spanish, and it'll just show up in English on the screen, and you'll literally be able to talk with people that normally you could have never communicated with. And I think that's going to be pretty magical, I guess, once that happens. You know.
That's interesting, yeah. And it's both global, and I would even bring in the talk about it being local, like to be able to just use all the technology that we have here and make up what we do as we go along. Like I would love to be able to do mobile hangouts and sort of like a real-time documentary of events that are going on in whatever particular area that you're at. So. Yeah, or maybe like at the South by Southwest that's going on. You know, I'm trying to see if I can make it out there and get a ticket. But if I am, I'd love to be able to bring my tablet and sort of have a documentary, and whereas being a local thing, showing what's going on in real time, but a global thing as well, because you're showing it to the entire world. And it's amazing that we have all this technology at our fingertips, just
I personally can't wait until we can actually show our film in the Hangout in a clear way, where it's streaming very nicely, and we can all have our own presentation in the Hangout to show our films and have our own Q&As and run our own film and our own brand, or whatever we want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect that the future, and this is just, I don't have any inside information, but this is my prediction, that very soon in the future, Google TV and Apple TV and some of these solutions will include, especially Google TV will include Hangouts on TV, and one of the things that they'll be no doubt offering as a feature is the ability for people, I mean, they'll offer it for consumers who want to watch a movie together that isn't live. You know, it's not live TV, but just rent a movie and watch it at the same time while socializing. Now, if you think about what that means for filmmakers and for the film festival, to be able to have people do the Hangout on a big screen TV in high definition while socializing about it, I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah, it's almost like the next generation of the sorry, my stutter. The movie theater, because less and less people are going out to actually see movies, and this is almost like the new theater or the new community space that people can share and view and like watch content.
Yeah,
I would say the amount of money that filmmakers spend on film festivals every year is enormous and ridiculous. And I think that if they could have the internet as a way to really branch out and meet people as well as show their film in a cheaper, more efficient way, and maybe even possibly make money by doing it versus by putting all that money out there and not even necessarily getting accepted. So there's a lot to be said.
I so agree with that too. Absolutely. And I think we are ready for that kind of change to happen. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Google Plus Film Festival could turn out to be, like spectacularly important in the industry. I really love what you guys are doing with that.
Absolutely.
Well, Adam thanks you. He's smiling over here. I'm telling him what's being said. And he did comment here in the side that I'd like to verbalize too, that he thinks that filmmaking's a very collaborative art form, and the more that people can network and work together, the better the project will become. And he does believe that Google Plus is a huge tool in that. So I agree with him.
Well, speaking of spending enormous amounts of money to promote one's film, any Oscar predictions?
I think we all think the artist is going to win. I think it's all pretty much across the board, right?
I agree.
Artist.
Yeah. I say the artist too.
Yeah.
Okay, and very quickly, what do you guys think about motion capture actors like Andy Serkis?
I think he totally deserves to get it. Absolutely.
I'm right there with you, Sharon. Yep.
Yeah, it seems like everyone agrees with that except the Academy.
Yeah, exactly.
Shocking.
That's because
well, you know what
old.
we usually say about the Academy.
It's a popularity contest,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
It's high school with like millions of dollars going on.
Totally.
Right.
Totally
Okay, so
popularity.
So this is the segment where I'm going to ask you guys to plug yourselves and/or just tell us what you're working on. So why don't we go around the room? Alex, let's start with you. What are you working on these days?
Well, right now I'm working as the director of media for Crazy Tax, which is a startup hardware product formed by my cousin, and it's basically just like a tack with a little hook that comes out. And so I've just been shooting things for them, doing shooting, editing, Photoshop work, InDesign, website, just all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing that, and then also I just finished up my thesis film, or undergrad thesis film, this last summer. So I've been kind of trying to promote that. It's called Troubled Sky. So. Great.
Okay, Brad Kremer, what are you working on?
I've got a lot of projects I'm in the middle of, but I guess the top ones is I'm working on a film for Nike that I was in Japan for in January and going to Austria in April for. I'm working on a doc about linemen, the guys who work on the power lines. That's been a really interesting one. Been on that for about 9 months now. I hope to wrap it up in the next 3 to 4 months. And I've been doing a lot of stereoscopic 3D work, and have a kind of a worldwide television show that we're trying to get off the ground. It's really exciting. So it's been really fun getting into stereoscopic. I know that's a whole other topic, but.
Okay. How about our other Brad? What are you doing?
Sure. I'm working on a short film right now that I'm putting together with my partners here at the business, and really enjoying that. Writing and producing, just about the script's just about done. Just finished several TV commercials that are running out here in Southern California, and it's start to finish produced here, written, produced, and sent off. So it's actually kind of fun. So and I'm also, strangely enough, writing and drawing a comic book. It's a funny thing. I went to art school, and then I ended up in advertising. So, trying to keep the skills back up.
Cool. All right, Darren.
I'm currently with the production company that I started. We're in post on a pilot that we shot. It's a buddy comedy about two wannabe serial entrepreneurs. And I'm actually with a comedy group that I'm in, writing a live show right now. I'm always doing a lot of live performance, stand-up, and improv and sketch in the city. So we're doing we're in pre-production also at the same time on a lot of new short films. So we're just trying to juggle everything we've got going in the air.
Why don't you put those live performances on the Google Plus Hangouts?
We do have plans for that. I'm trying to do a lot more live taping at shows. And there's also been talk of trying to put shows, bring Google Plus Hangouts as part of a show. One thing I'm also working on, it's going pretty slowly, but I'm trying to develop a live scripted narrative Google Plus show, a show that would be scripted, but it would exist on Google Plus, and I don't know. Basically, it would be a lot of one shots with the. Which
Great
is figure out
idea,
how the
Darren.
cameras would work, but it's a great way to. Another thing is a variety show where the people that you see on the bottom of the screen here are all acts in the variety show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sort of trying to figure out the best way to get that to work. But I'm very excited about making that a big part of my projects.
Cool. Okay, Jamie.
Well, we are working on these projects down here right now, and we just finished producing a national television ad for a 5K race. It's helping to promote the prosthetics clinic that we're working with. But we also have a low-budget sci-fi that we're going to be working on this year. And it's a narrative, and then we also are having this writers retreat where we're having 5 writers. Actually, we're going to lock ourselves up and pound out a script and plan on shooting that film over the course of 2012. So those are our current projects, and then I continue to try to make a little money here and there with these other projects.
Okay, great. Matthew.
And by the way, I just also wanted to say that our production company is Blind Lyle Films. Just so I don't know if people were saying their production company names, but I just wanted to let people know because it's kind of an unusual name.
Okay, great. All right, Matthew.
Yeah, I've been working a lot on G+, this space. I have a lot of projects that I'm doing now and coming up. It's funny that Darren mentioned variety. I'm working on a show called Plusketeers with Peter McDermott. It's going to be comedic and a little bit of variety. We're still working on that. We're actually raising money for Sarah Hill's charity with Pet International, which is pretty cool if you want to check that out. We're trying to raise $50,000. Go ahead.
Actually, Matthew, can you talk more about that? I think a lot of people have seen that flying around, but I'm not sure that everybody really quite understands what the whole Plusketeers thing is. Can you go in a little bit?
Yeah, so it's interesting because Plusketeers that I'm doing with Peter was an idea that we had that we were running with, that we created the page and we thought it'd be fun, and we were just kind of like building it up and seeing what people would react, and we had a phone number. We still have a phone number for people to call, and we're going to play those voicemails on air when we have the show going. But it's been like a little bit of a fun little pre-promotional whatever kind of campaign that we worked with. And along the way, Sarah Hill called it Plusketeers with an E instead of an A, and we kind of teamed up with her, and she has she's doing great stuff with news broadcasts through Hangouts, which have been pretty cool. And she's raising money for this Pet International, which gets carts for people in third world countries, so they don't have to like crawl around in the mud. And it's been pretty amazing to watch the support. We're tying the brand of the show with the charity to kind of launch. So that's been pretty cool. You can go to Sarah Hill's page and you can look for donations if you want to donate money. It's a great cause. And it's just one of the things, raising money in the space is pretty cool, whether it's for film or for charity. We sent someone to Haiti to help with clean drinking water. So a lot of things can be done here. Also, I'm working with some artists on some comic books, some writing, Tim Clary, and I don't know, I want to make a short film once I... And hopefully I'll find a Google Plus team. I'd love maybe me and Darren would get together to see New York.
That'd be great.
Cool. We're making deals here and making history on this Hangout. Sharon, go ahead.
Okay, I am in pre-production for my next film, which is called Baggage Claim. And I'm also working with a charity here in Los Angeles that is involved with the Angels baseball team, and we're doing a series of shorts to promote their charity. And also fundraising, trying to make some money so that I can continue to make these films. But I'm working on a film this weekend. I start shooting called The Room, and then at the end of March I got cast in a film called Burning Ants, which is really, really exciting, and it's a great drama. And so yeah, I'm just in front of and behind the camera and doing everything in between. So it's great. Oh, and if you'd like to chip in or want to see Change for Dollar, it's posted on my wall, and people can find out more about me at she'salwaysright.com. It's right like my last name, W-R-I-T-H-T.
And you have a pig.
And I have a pig. Yes, he doesn't have a page on Google Plus yet. He is a Facebook guy, and he has tons of videos, and he's very funny.
Can I also say, can I recommend watching Sharon's Full Worst? That's a great thing to check out as well. She's like, don't. It's the web series that she made.
Yes, we have a web series that we did.
Okay. Everybody check that out. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, Sharon, is your pig the inspiration for the pig in Pulp Fiction? I was just wondering. Maybe.
No. But his stage name, I will tell you, his stage name is the Pig Lebowski.
Very nice. Well, my focus right now is putting a spotlight on local talent in Chicago that might not otherwise be seen. There are people I'm working with now. There's Don Arnold with Moving Doc Theater and Chekhov Studio Chicago, which I've been able to have the entire theater group migrate over to G+, and I'm teaching them about Hangouts, and we're doing some really fun stuff in the space, but trying to bring them along to learn how this works. And so there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening with that. And I also have a friend of mine, Josie Dykes, who's putting up a one-woman show, so I want to see if I could help her with the mobile Hangouts I was talking about before. So that's mostly what I'm doing right now.
All right. Well, great. Well, this has been a Flying Circle episode. My name is Mike Elgan, and these are Google Plus's brilliant movie makers, and I'd like to thank all of you for spending this time doing this Hangout.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks.
Support independent film, indie film.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again. Goodbye.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Bye.